Hello and good evening, all the people on this currently, and good afternoon if you are on the West Coast. I know the time zone's a little different. My name is Damon Lucas, and I'm with the Office of Student Aid. We just have a presentation prepared for you folks, as well as the Office of the Bursar will be on later. First, before I continue on to the slides, they're going over a couple ground rules, house rules for you folks. As Chris just mentioned, this meeting is being recorded and will be posted online later. So we will also have a chat going. Please do not share any personal information on that chat. That includes phone numbers, emails, as that chat is archived, so that information would be on there. So please do not share any personal information. As we will have a chat going. If you have any questions along the way, please just type into the chat. We'll gladly answer them as we go along. And additionally, if we have any bigger questions that come up often, we will gladly kind of key mark those, archive them, and address them later in our Q&A section. Please keep your cameras and microphones off. That way there are no interruptions during the presentation. And let's get this puppy started. All right, here's just our general agenda for the day. So our section, we're going to review your financial aid offer, financing and options, including some loans, responding to your to-do list, remaining eligible resources, as well as just how to contact our office and as well as the Bursar's office. So let me just welcome the class of 2028. You guys have made an amazing step through the next progress of your careers and as well as just your lives in general. We want to welcome you and kind of hope this presentation kind of gives you some of the next tools to kind of help you make the next process and make this as easy as possible. One of our first steps I always mention is just to go to our studentaid.psu.edu website. We post all sorts of information, which this webinar will also be posted on there after this as well. We just post all sorts of fun tips from scholarships, general to-dos, as well as all sorts of fun tips and tricks to kind of help make this process easy as possible. First, let's go over some loans. All right, so as most of you may have seen in your award offers or award letters, you probably saw some of these federal loans. So what that is this is your subsidized and unsubsidized loan. That would be awarded after your submission of the FAFSA. That would be for your 24-25 as well. If you were in the summer session, your 23-24. If you have submitted your FAFSA, you will probably have noted you had to sign a couple things. So you have to sign your master promissory note or MPN, or as well as your loan entrance counseling, or it'll pop up as LEC. These items will show up on if you haven't completed already, they will show up on your line path to-do list and must be completed before those loans disperse. If you would not see these items on your to-do list, you can actually complete them on studentaid.gov, the same site where you actually applied for your FAFSA. You are under no obligation to accept any of these loans. As I mentioned, they are loans, so you do have to pay those back. If you wish to decline them, you are more than welcome to, and if you would like to use them later, you're always welcome to use them. They're there to help. They're there for you if you need them. That would be your unsubsidized as well as your subsidized loan. The major difference is the subsidized, if offered, does not accrue interest while you are enrolled in school, while your unsubsidized will accrue interest at the moment it is accepted. All right, next we have our Parent Plus loan. For a Parent Plus loan, similar to the aspect it is a federal loan, so your FAFSA must be on file for this to be applied for. As I just kind of mentioned, it is an additional loan offered through the federal government. So the big thing with the Parent Plus loan is it is a loan taken out in the parent's name, not the student's name. So parents, if you're watching this, Parent Plus loan is an option for you as well as some other loans that we'll go through. These applications for the Plus, as well as some other private loans that we'll go over, do not open until July 1st for fall and spring, but they are open for your summer sessions that are currently going on right now. So now we get to some private student loans. In the event that you would be unable to qualify for a private or for a Parent Plus loan, this might be a route for you. As I just kind of mentioned with the Plus loan, private loan applications are very similar in the timeline of when they open. So the application for fall and spring will not open until July 1st, but summer session, they are open right now. When you are applying for these loans, we always recommend just kind of shopping around and seeing what interest rates are out there. there are a lot of loan lenders, so you just kind of have to look on through and see what ones are out there. Google search is a really good option to look kind of through these lenders. It'll kind of pull up your pros and cons of each loan lender, as well as what the interest rates could be. The main difference between a private loan and a Parent Plus loan is a plus loan, the interest rate is set, whereas a private loan, the interest rates may vary and you might see some fluctuation. So as that is a plus loan, the interest rate is set, and you will always have that for the current academic year. And then a private loan, the interest rates can vary, which is why it's kind of critical to kind of shop around and see what options are there. As well as it's always good. Sometimes they might be through banks, just private loan lenders. There are a couple options out there for you. Some of them may require a co-signer. So if you are doing the private loan in the name of the student, most likely will require a co-signer because most students don't have a pre-established credit score to go off of for that private loan. Next, so we're going to verification. Some of you may have been selected for this already, and you might kind of be seeing this as you kind of go along before. You might kind of be a little familiar with this. So the federal government can ask students and families to verify information submitted on the FAFSA. If you have been selected, these items will be found in your to-do list, which is my example I have up on here for you to look at, and it'll be in your line path. Not all students have been selected at this time, so be on the lookout for any emails or anything from us, because that will be where we kind of put that information for you to look at and then go to your to-do list. The Office of Student Aid may request additional information to assist with this process as well. Be advised though, these items do need to be completed for your federal aid to disperse. So if you have gotten these items, please be getting the information submitted. And if you have any questions, you're more than welcome to reach out. The items, as I said, will show up on your to-do list, and you'll simply click the link that goes with it. You can find out more information to go along with the item, and then require the submitted information. As I said, these items do need to be completed for your federal aid to disperse, so please do so if you haven't started that process already, and you're welcome to reach out if you do have questions about that. So as like on the last slide, here's just another example of your to-do list item. This is clicked on through your My Information, and you get all of this information for you from, you see your health insurance, to grant delegated access, which we'll go over afterwards, emergency contacts, all sorts of fun information that needs to be inputted. But this is you're gonna be really familiar with Line Path as well as all these fun tabs as you kind of go along through your Penn State journey. So next one, I'm sure some of you may have heard or not heard of SAP. No, it's not like that sticky stuff you get off of a tree. If that was the case, this would be a lot different conversation. So SAP, or Satisfactory Academic Progress, what you're kind of wondering probably what is that? So it's kind of one of our things that there are certain requirements that go along with that. So we have, for undergraduate students, you must maintain a GPA of 2.0 or greater. For graduate students in some degree programs, a 3.0 GPA is required, or it may be required or greater as well. You also must maintain a course completion rate of 67% or higher. Whenever you were thinking about dropping a course or late dropping a course, always contact our office to make sure you're still within those completion rates. What a completion rate is that you're completing your class and the class was not dropped. If you're dropping too many courses, you would not be meeting SAP because you'd be below that 67% or higher. And the last one that's on there is making sure you finish your degree within the maximum time frame, which is 6 years. That is just for the bachelor's degree. Graduate students have a little different kind of pacing with that. But if you have questions about that, you're always welcome to reach out on that too. And here's just the next slide, some SAP continued. So SAP is specifically mentioned towards the students. Parents, some of you may see the email communication. You're more than welcome to say, hey, I have a SAP issue, but we most likely will not be able to conversate on that just because SAP and other academic issues are strictly protected by FERPA, which is very similar to HIPAA. But essentially, FERPA prevents the Office of Student Aid from sharing SAP information without the student present. As I kind of mentioned, if a parent does contact our office with a SAP issue, you will be directed to have the student call or visit the office, as well as we often will have them refer to an email we sent out on such and such day that will have more information on SAP and kind of how that process works. All right, as I kind of mentioned a little earlier in the presentation, we do have something called delegated access. What is that? So this is when a student grants access to another individual, such as a parent or guardian. This allows our office and other offices to discuss the student's account with the person. That ranges from like when the bill is due, what your total bill is. As I kind of mentioned, the only thing we can't talk about is those academics. So we will not be able to answer questions on what the student's schedule is or anything along those lines. Here is just an example of how to grant that delegated access. So first, you'll go on to that My Information tab that you're going to learn to love. You'll click on that, simply scroll down to the bottom left-hand corner as I have shown here, and then you'll just click and create new delegate. After that, follow the instructions and boom, you just grant delegated access. Sometimes that does take a little bit for the system to process. Sometimes it's pretty quick. So if you're on the phone and you said, hey, my student just submitted delegated access, it may not be immediate, but it will be there. Sometimes it does take a little bit for a system to process it, but that's how you grant delegated access. All right, so how we communicate. Our primary form of communication is email. So students, parents, be checking your email. All of our emails will go to the student's Penn State account. That's how we're going to communicate with you. Many offices, including our own, will use this to keep in touch, as well as you kind of see on the right-hand side. We do have some information, like that's kind of some of the communications we send out. So when we say, hey, this was sent on such and such date, this is where we get that information from. For example, this student said or had some information sent in April, and if a student calls and says, hey, I never got this, we will refer them back to that email. Please check your emails, because if you are not, you can miss some really critical communications we send out. And if these are missed, it can be costing some time and some money, and we don't want to be costing you time nor money. All right, this is just my general wrap it up, make you feel a little hungry for the middle part of this. Who doesn't like a good wrap? Here's just some quick reminder. Please go into your line path and accept those loans if you like, if you haven't already. Complete that master promissory note, as well as your loan entrance counseling on studentaid.gov or through your to-do list. Watch your student account for student account statements, as well as due dates that we have on here. Grant your delegated access to a parent or guardian, as well as always, you can visit our student aid website, where we also have a bunch of social medias as well, like coworker Chris is always posting all sorts of fun stuff on them. Always give us a follow. I think now we're going to give it off to Sandra from the Office of the Bursar, and we will give her off for the Bursar segment.
Thank you, Damien. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Okay, can somebody let me know if you are seeing my screen?
Yep, you're good, Sandra.
Thank you, Damien. Hello, everybody, and thank you again for being here and taking time to be with us this afternoon. My name is Sandra Gonzalez de Del Pilar, and I work in the Office of the Bursar. I'm a communications manager there. The Office of the Bursar manages all of the student accounts for Penn State, all the billing and all the collection of payments. And we will be presenting some important information that we think new families should be aware of. But all of the information that we will be sharing with you this afternoon is available at our website. So please, when you have time, you know, take some time to go through it. And then if you have any questions, we're always very happy to assist you. And we'll start. So this is what we will be covering today in the Bursar part, authorized payer access, billing information, payment options, external awards, and refunds. And then to start, and I hope I'm not confusing you, but there are two types of access that students grant at Penn State. And authorized payer access is the access that a student grants to a parent or a family member to access their student account. And just with delegated access, we are also regulated by FERPA. And this prohibits Bursar representatives from disclosing any specific information about the student account to anyone unless they are designated as an authorized payer in our system by the student. Once that authorized payer is granted, it will give you access to the student account activity to make payments, to enroll in installment payment plan, and to receive tax form 1098-T. And the way that the students grant this access is very easy. Again, I'm showing the student account dashboard, and they will go to either My Finances on the top of their screen or to Make an Account, Make a Payment on the quick links. That will take them to their student account. And then under My Account, they will choose Payer to send a payer invitation. And all the student needs is your first name, last name, and an email address. And then once they confirm the email address, you will receive an email with a temporary password and a link that will allow you to access the account and change your password. And after that, this is the link where you will be able to access the account by clicking on the authorized payer login. And in addition, when the billing statement is issued, there will be a link to access and view the statement account. And that is a nice segue for the billing information that will be presented by my colleague, Brad.
Everyone, I'm Brad Tippins. I am the Associate Bursar here at Penn State. So as Sandra mentioned, I'm going to give a little brief overview of how the billing here works here at Penn State. So billing statements are sent out electronically. They will be sent in an email to your PSU email address. You'll get a notification of the bill. Those bills come out within the first couple days of each month. And for the due dates are typically the 22nd of each month. However, the fall, spring semesters, they may have a different due date due to the add drop deadlines. So just make sure when you get that student account statement, you're checking the due date, which will be up in the top right corner. And you can also go to the website there, the bursarpsu.edu tuition due dates, to see the upcoming due dates as well. Right on to the next slide. So over here on the right-hand side of the slide, there is a QR code that you can scan, which will take you to the tuition cost estimator tool. That's a good tool that you can use to get a good estimate of what your total costs could be for the year. The charges that will show on your billing statement, you will have your tuition charges, which you can go to tuition.psu.edu to see what those tuition rates are going to be. There also will be mandatory fees that are on the account. Any housing and food charges can go on your student account. You could also have bookstore charges for books or course materials. And there could be some other charges, for similar like add drop fees or course and class fees or other things that may show up. So here on the student account dashboard, you can see where the statements button is, so you can see the statement there. And this is what the student account statement will look like. So as I mentioned, up there in the top right of the statement, make sure to always check that due date. The due date for the fall semester this year, so you can see the statement will come out on, August 1st. And then the due date will be September 3rd, which will correspond to the add drop deadline for the fall semester. So just a couple things to check on this statement, make sure you're checking total amount due, that due date, and any other information on there that, may be important to your situation. So now I will pass it on to my colleague, Adam, who will go over payment options.
Well, can everybody hear me?
Yep, you're good, Adam.
Yes.
All right, and don't let me turn the camera on. All right, well, hello, everybody. I'm Adam Ballone. I'm an accounting manager in the Bursar's office, and I'm here to discuss various payment options that we have for student account balances. You can move the next slide. So our first payment options are our three most popular. Our two primary online payment options are e-check and credit card. E-check payments are an online ACH payment that can be made from a US-based bank account. There is no fee associated with these payments, with this payment type, and they are also posted immediately to the student account upon submission. The other option online is a credit card payment. which you can be paid via a Visa, MasterCard, Discover, or an Amex. There is a service fee associated with using a debit or credit card for a payment. And these payment types are also posted immediately to the student account. The third option is a traditional paper check or money order. These can be mailed to our address that is also available on the student account statement. And these typically take 7 to 10 days to be received and processed by our office, but that timeline can get longer during the beginning of a billing cycle. Next slide. Also, for our international students, we offer Flywire, who's been our partner since 2012. Flywire is our only payment option for sending international payments directly to Penn State. And if you were to use the QR code here, it will give you additional details about Flywire. Next slide, please. Also, we offer an installment payment plan every semester. During the fall and spring semesters, the installment payment plan is divides your payments over a course of 4 months. And during the summer semester, it is split over 3 months. The payment plan is available to all students, and enrollment can only be completed online by the student or any authorized payers. And the only valid payment methods for the installment payment plan are the aforementioned e-check or credit card. If you wish to use the installment payment plan, you do have to enroll every semester. And the first installment and a $45 enrollment fee for the plan are both payable at the time of enrollment. And then also when enrolling in the installment payment plan, it will also require you to agree to the use of auto pay that will be used for the subsequent payments in the plan. So from the student account dashboard, for both students and authorized payers, on the left-hand side is a payment plans tab that when you click it, it will open up a slide out from the right-hand side that will kind of give you a summary of the payment plan for the current semester. So as we see here, this one is actually for the summer, and it will give you a breakdown of the total amount that's being enrolled in the plan, how many payments there are, and it will also advise you of the fee. And then to start the process, you simply click in Enroll in Plan. And then it will kind of start you through. There's various agreements and different details it will provide you, but the very first screen will also kind of give you a more detailed breakdown to advise you of the amount you're going to be paying now during the enrollment. In this example, for the summer, the 2 subsequent payments are due on June 22nd and July 22nd, and it also provides you an estimated amount of those payments at this time. All right, next slide. Also, from the student account dashboard, students are able to enroll in E-refund direct deposit. E-refund direct deposit is the fastest, safest, and our only recommended option for students to receive refunds from any excess funds that may be on their student account. Only students have access to enroll in E-refund, and they would simply need to have their routing and account numbers to sign up for their bank account. Next slide, please. And I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Kara, to discuss 529 plans.
Thank you, Adam. Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be with you this evening. My name is Kara Benner, and I am the accounting manager for the external awards team within the Office of the Bursar. So the first topic that I wanted to present today, which is also a payment plan or a payment option that we offer at Penn State, is 529 plans. A very high overview of what 529 plans are is they're a specific type of investment account that families can use to plan and save for educational costs whenever the opportunity, arises. So there's many financial institutions that offer 529 plans. And these 529 plans, again, would be for savings purposes that would be earmarked specifically for educational expenses down the road. So this slide covers the most popular 529 plans that we see that students have. The first of which is the Pennsylvania 529 plan. The PA Treasury offers 2 different types of 529 plans. The first of which is called the Guaranteed Savings Plan. This payment this 529 plan offers 2 payment options to the account holders, one of which is a wire transfer and the second of which is a paper check. We do work very closely with the Treasury Office in administering these 529 plans. So we are able to receive rosters and kind of get an understanding of how many students we will be working with upon each semester with the PA Guaranteed Savings Plan. The second plan that Pennsylvania offers is called the investment plan. This plan also offers 2 payment options, paper check and ACH, which is an electronic money transfer. Again, completely at the students' and families' discretion, how they wish to have a payment issued out of their Pennsylvania 529 plan. I do want to note that if you choose to have a paper check issued for the tuition, I would advise to start the process as soon as able, because we do have to account for the 2 to 3 week time frame for paper checks to be delivered to the Bursar's office within or by the United States Postal Service. Another very popular 529 plan that we see is the Florida prepaid plan. This is a 529 plan offered by the state of Florida. And I will say that if students do participate with the Florida 529, again, I would really encourage that students and families work early on in the process as soon to initiate payment, if that's the payment option that's so chosen. And those payments do arrive by check, so we do encourage the getting the payment here as soon as possible, just because of the mail transit time. Our team also works with 7 additional other states 529 plans where we work rosters. So these 7 listed here are 529 plans that we work very closely to collaborate with the tuition and fees and then securing payment for rostered students for these states. Like I said, there is a lot of 529 plans within the United States. So whatever 529 plan you're working with, it is a good idea to kind of investigate, especially for the first time, to get a full understanding of what the payment process looks like for your 529 plan. They might ask for a tuition statement. They might ask for some forms to be completed. So having that information up front so you'll be prepared and ready for initiating payment to Penn State is a great idea. And the second topic that I wanted to present today to finish up our payment options segment of the presentation is the external awards by way of scholarships. So scholarships can be presented to students from any outside organization for the purpose of paying tuition and fees. Scholarship checks oftentimes are made payable to both Penn State and the student. And if that occurs, that is not a problem. We just simply will have to ask that the student endorse the back of the check at the time they turn over the check to our office so we can process that. If the check is made only to Penn State, the student does not have to endorse the check. They simply just deliver that or mail the scholarship check to our office. And we would then in turn process that payment towards the student account based off the donor's direction. We highly encourage that donors and students indicate their Penn State ID number on the check so we can accurately and efficiently apply that scholarship check to the respective student account. I do have on here notated the address should you want to forward a scholarship check to our office for processing. We do have both walk-in hours and mail services, so either way of delivering that scholarship check, our team will be sure to process that in a timely fashion. And now I will turn this, the presentation over to Sandra.
Thank you, Kara. We just have some final notes, and we know that this is a lot of information, so please, this will be recorded, this will be shared. You can watch it later, and then you can always reach to our offices. But some final notes, that your student must grant authorized payer access to access the student account, and then delegated access to have access to other financial aid information. You should highly encourage your student to always monitor their Penn State email, because that's how we communicate with them. Enroll in E-refund with a U.S. bank account, and initiate your payment as soon as you receive your billing statement. Our contact information for both of our offices is listed here, and I am going to leave this slide up while we go ahead and answer some questions live now. And Damien is going to come on back on to do that with me here.
All right. So I think we're actually going to have Craig come on for this one too. Whenever whenever you are ready, Craig, we'll just type some questions in and we'll try and answer through the top.
Okay.
Let's see. Let's start with we'll start with Craig. How are scholarships applied if you receive after a scholarship after your loan payment is already made?
Okay, that's a good question. So typically outside scholarships are going to be applied at whatever semester that they are received at that time. So if there is no balance, your bill is already paid, then that money would then be refunded to the student. They would definitely want to make sure that they have e-refund set up to expedite that process. And again, they usually apply directly to the semester in which they're received, unless the scholarship specifies that it has to be split up between semesters, but that's how that process would work.
Awesome. Thank you, Craig.
Sure.
Let's see our next one. We'll do a Bursar one for you, Sandra.
Yes.
All right. I used to ask the DC 529. Do I have to ask the DC 529 wire the money directly to the school? I think that's what that plan says.
Sandra, do you want me to answer this?
Yes, please, Adam.
I do believe that DC 529 is one of the plans that has the ability to send us payments electronically. So it just shows up as an option when you requested the disbursement. If it is not, typically then they mail a check to our office.
Wonderful. Thank you, Adam. All right, we're on to the next one. This one was going to be a Bursar one for you guys. The person is requesting some info. Actually looks like Kara's answering now, so I'm going to disregard that one and go to the next one.
I'm sorry, Sandra, could you address the authorized payer? Can there be more than one person on the authorized payer list?
Yes, so the student can authorize more. Actually, we recommend that each parent, if we're talking about families, each parent has their own authorized payer access, because it goes with the person. It's not like by family. So yes, highly recommend, if both or whoever needs to speak with us that is a family member, that they should have their own authorized payer. Thank you, Kelly.
Awesome. This next one is, I have covered all, and Adam, I'm going to do this one live. What is the process to redeem this money? A covered all account, what is the process to redeem this money? And I assume it's different from the 529 plan. So
you would need to kind of speak with the advisor in terms of how to request a disbursement. Every investment plan, 529, kind of does things their own way. So you would have to determine exactly what they need from you to do that request. And the vast majority of investment plans of 529s usually submit payment to us via a check in the mail.
Awesome. Thank you, Adam. So we'll do a next one. There's kind of questions about kind of like Parent Plus loans. So we'll have Craig come on back for that one. Just kind of how our Parent Plus loans come to us, and is it dispersed to Penn State, goes directly to the student, or how does that kind of get to us?
Yeah, absolutely. So the Parent Plus loan is a very quick and easy application process. If you're going to go that route, we actually suggest you wait until the bill comes out, because you have plenty of time to get that loan approved and in place, and it will be automatically applied directly to the student's account. And then as long as it's accepted in LionPath, it will automatically be applied towards the bill when it is dispersed. So pretty quick, pretty seamless process.
All right, perfect. I'm going to keep you on for one more, Craig. Is it too late to apply for those federal loans?
Absolutely not. No. So as far as the federal loans go, they're all determined, through the FAFSA data. So as long as you have your FAFSA filed, and even if you don't, you can still file it. So yeah, as long as your FAFSA is filed, you can go out and apply for that federal Parent Plus loan at studentaid.gov, and then the direct student loans will be automatically applied, obviously, when the student's awarded.
Awesome. Thank you, Craig. So I'm going to give it Sandra, this one back to you guys.
Yes.
When will the bills be available for summer session 2?
So the billing statements are issued monthly, and I believe summer session 2 depends on when the student enroll in classes. So they are being issued every month, and so that is not really is when the student enrolls in classes. So if they are enrolled after June 1st, though, the billing statement for June just was issued. But if they enroll after, then they will receive it in July.
Awesome. Thank you. It looks like there's one more. When will this is just, I guess, a general summer 24 question. When will the bill be available and when is it due?
So again, it depends, right? So we have some LEAP students that already received a statement yesterday, I believe, and so that statement is due on the 22nd. But if their NSO is at a later time and they will be enrolling then in classes, then their bill will be due in July.
Awesome. Thank you. I'm going to give you guys one more. Does
Sure.
the E-refund account have to be the student's bank account, or can it be the parent's bank account?
It can be any bank account designated by the student, but the refund will go to that account. So that has to be decided between the student and the parent. Usually students open their account when they come to Penn State, but yeah, again, that is a personal decision.
Awesome. All right, Craig, I'm going to hit back to you then once I get some more of these.
Okay.
Where would the student view these if we are offered like their award offer and such? Where would they be able to view that?
Yeah, you'll just log into your LinePath account and check out your aid summary. Everything should be in there as far as what you've been offered. Also, your cost information showing you your estimated charges and also your estimated costs after aid. That's kind of what you want to focus on because that's the gap that you're going to need to cover, to pay that bill. And one additional thing to add about the Parent Plus loan that I forgot to mention earlier is just be aware that there is an administrative fee that's taken out of that. It's a little over 4%. So when you're applying for that Parent Plus loan, if you're going to go that route, you want to make sure you take that into consideration. They do give it to you when you apply to the loan, but it's kind of hidden a little bit. And we do have a nice calculator on our website that allow you to factor in to make sure that you apply for enough to compensate for that fee that's taken out of that loan.
Awesome, perfect. And we'll just do, can those loans also be applied to their summer sessions?
So when you say those loans, you're talking about
like
the federal
subsidized and unsubsidized loans. Yes, the federal loans.
Yeah, absolutely. So a student that is starting in the summer, it's part of the 23-24 academic year. So they have not used any of those federal direct student loans for the fall and the spring last year. So they'll automatically be eligible for that $5,500 for the summer. So those can definitely be applied for the summer as well, sure. And they'll get a new set of $5,500 for the fall and the spring next year. Something to keep in mind is there is an aggregate limit of loans that the student is eligible for. So if they use their maximum amount every semester, once they get to the end, if they're on track to graduate in 4 years, they could end up being a little bit short and they might run out of their eligibility. So just something to kind of keep in mind. But yeah, those loans are definitely available for the summer, and you can also apply for a Parent Plus loan for the summer as well. Just make sure that you're applying for the correct academic year, again, 23-24.
Awesome. And I'll do one more for you, Craig. When will a student know if they've received a scholarship from us?
So most of the scholarships are going to be awarded when that initial aid offers come out. Although every academic college is different. They have their own process, and sometimes, scholarships might be offered to students that choose not to come. So they do kind of keep a running list. So there are some that do funnel down through as we get closer to the summer. But in most cases, we suggest you kind of make your decision and all that based upon what you see now. And if something else comes up, later on, then kind of count it as a bonus. But most of them would be out at this point.
Awesome. Wonderful. So Sandra, we're going to go back to your guys' team.
Yes.
This person applied for the DC tag, and usually they grant about $10,000 per year. How does that work with the award letter? Like, how does that get applied to their award?
DC tag is actually student aid.
Oh, perfect. Sorry, Kelly.
Yes. So the DC tag staff would notify our staff of the amount that a student is receiving, and we would add that to the student's account in student aid.
Awesome. Thanks, Kelly. Sorry about that, Sandra.
It's okay.
Sandra.
Yes.
Sorry,
Sorry,
Kelly.
Damon. Sandra, I do have a question. Someone's asking if you could
Sure.
explain one more time how they set up that e-refund.
Yes, E-refund is set up in the student account dashboard. I don't remember if we have slides about that. Let me go really quickly here. Right here. So once the student is in their student account dashboard, there is a direct deposit refund. And then all they have to do is accept the agreement, and then they will enter the bank account information. And then that's it. But only the students, and remember, only the students can enroll in E-refund.
Sandra, I'll add to that.
Yes.
When the
you,
student
Adam.
logs into LionPath and goes to their student account dashboard, on the home, like on the landing page for the dashboard, one of the options that's really big and bold is it will say sign up for direct deposit. So it kind of holds their hand to that screen to set it up.
Thank you, Adam.
You're welcome.
All right, so this one is kind of a double quit, the 529 plans. This parent has a PA 529 plan, but also has a grandparent with a 529 plan. Should they request access for both the grandparent and parent to be authorized payers?
Kara, would you jump on this one?
Sure. So that could be a decision at the family's discretion. If the 529 plan is asking for a billing statement, the student would be the ultimate key holder to that statement. So yes, authorized payers can get copies of statements if that's the direction you wish to go. For multiple users to get access to statements, or the student could simply download a copy of that statement and get that to whomever or the 529 entity who needs it for payment processing.
Awesome. Thank you, Kara. And then I'm going to have Craig back come. There's some questions about international students. And are there any scholarships that are available for them to apply for?
Yeah, so aid options typically for international students are pretty limited. We definitely suggest you go out and visit our website. We do have a Zoom video out there in our resource section for international students. You can follow some of our social media pages for some outside scholarships. And we also always suggest you go out and check out the Office of Global Programs to see if they might have anything available. But typically, the resources are pretty limited for international students.
Awesome. Thank you, Craig. All right, and one of the questions are, can we go over how to get the authorized payer access again?
Certainly we can. I'm gonna scroll back to that part of the presentation. And so again, the student will need to go to their student, this is LionPath, this is the student information system where all the information for the student lives. And so for the authorized payer access, they'll click on My Finances or Manage My Account, Make a Payment. And then that will take them to their student account dashboard. And then under My Account, there is Payers. And then once you click on Payers, then this window opens up, and then this is the information that they'll need to complete. And then the authorized payer will get an email. I did see a couple of questions saying that their student granted authorized payer and they had not received the email. So I would encourage you to please reach out to us using the contact option on our website, and we can verify for you. As you will need your student ID. We can verify if we see it on the account already, and there might be just a step missing, and the student has access to resend a payer invitation if there's something that went wrong.
Awesome, perfect. I'm going to kind of tag or answer there's a couple ones. So I do see one. Do you need to fill out the 23-24 FAFSA to get summer loans? So you would need to fill out 23-24 to get your federal loans. So your subsidized, unsubsidized, as well as your parent or federal parent plus loan. You would not need to have that on file for your private student loan. And then for the private loans, they will open up, the applications will open up for the 24-25 year. The applications open up July 1st, as well as that also applies to the parent plus loan as well. Um, um, Craig, I'm going to hand this one off to you. Is there an origination fee for the subsidized loans?
Yeah, the subsidized and unsubsidized loans have a little over a 1% origination fee. So for that 5,500 that you're gonna, get for the year initially, it's not going to be 2750 per semester. It's going to be 2723 one semester, 2722 the second semester. So you lose, a little bit from about a 1% administrative fee there.
We kind of have. All right, and also, Craig, could you go over how much those direct loans, how much a first-year student gets?
Yeah, the first year student's going to be eligible for a maximum of 5,500. And again, the subsidized loan is a needs-based aid source, so that one is not guaranteed. They're guaranteed to get the maximum amount of 5,500, but all 5,500 of it could be unsubsidized depending upon the FAFSA data. So once the students get beyond 29.1 credits, then it goes up to 6,500 for the year. And then beyond 59.1 credits, it goes up to like 7,500 then for the year. So it does increase a little bit, but the 7,500 would be the most it would ever be for a dependent student.
Awesome, wonderful. Thank you, Craig.
Sure.
And then it looks like we have a couple ones on. All right, and then Sandra, for you guys, can e-checks come from multiple, or can e-checks like e-deposits, like when they put a deposit in their account, can it come from multiple payers? Like, can multiple payers make a payment towards the account?
Yes, so as long as they are set up as authorized payers, they can go in and make, we accept partial payments. It doesn't have to be, like one payment. We accept partial payments and then from different authorized payers. Yes.
Awesome, wonderful. So this kind of goes on with how this will kind of be a kind of both, or for you and Sue, Sandra, how soon after a loan is dispersed will the refund be issued to a student's account?
Adam, would you?
Sure. So the Office of the Bursar, we only process refunds once a week. So the timeline can vary. If the loan is dispersed, just simply the day before we process refunds, it's only one day, but it could be upwards of a week. But we do process refunds every week. So that's one of the reasons why we encourage the e-refund direct deposit, because that greatly expedites the receiving of the refund once they are issued.
Awesome. Thank you, Adam. And Craig, I'm going to pull you up one more time. Someone just asking for some clarification on those unsubsidized loan amounts as the subsidized loan amounts, like the $5,500 and onward.
Yeah, so clarification in terms of the amounts, or we're not sure.
Oh, just they're just asking just for what, like, so freshman year they're offered $5,500, and
Yeah, 50.
Sophomore year what they're offered and all that.
Yeah, 5,500 for first year. It typically is 6,500 second year, although it's not by year, it is by credit. So again, once they have to be beyond 29.1 credits. So you typically, you could really get 5,500 the second year as well if you didn't take enough credits to get beyond that 29.1. So it's by credits, not by years. But again, 29.1 and above, it goes to 6,500, and then 59.1 and above, it goes to the 7,500.
Awesome. Thank you again. I think we had one question. I'll ask for both kind of Craig or Sandra, or your team can answer this one too. Can the parents get the emails that we send to the students?
So parents get the email about the billing statement if they are set up as an authorized payer. But students, really, we communicate directly with students. And that's for the Bursar's office.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same in financial aid as well. Everything is communicated through the student, and it works pretty much the same. Yeah.
All right, Craig, I'm going to give one back to you. When do parents have to start making payments on their Parent Plus loans if they apply for that, as well as just kind of all that would tie into some other loan options? When do they have to start making payments on those?
Yeah, it's a good question. So typically, the Parent Plus loan is going to expect them to make payments while the student is in school, but they are very flexible compared to the private alternative loan. So they will allow deferments if you choose to do that. So it's something you definitely can reach out to them and ask them about. They've got a lot of flexibility in terms of those repayment options.
Awesome. Thank you, Craig. And then
Mhm.
Sandra, for this one, this person's asking if NSO is on June 30th, when would they receive their billing statement for the fall session?
Okay, so all fall billing statements will be issued in August.
All right, perfect. Thank you, Sandra. All right, this kind of be a double whammy. If a student accepted the financial aid package and it included a grant, can we pay the entire statement as opposed to what the grant would be? And would the grant be automatically applied towards their bill?
Yeah, so whenever that grant disperses, if there is a balance, it's going to automatically apply towards the balance. If the family would choose to pay the bill first before the grant would disperse, then at that point that grant would be refunded to the student. So it just depends upon when the grant disperses and what there's a balance on the account or not at that time.
All right, let's see what else we got. Craig, do you just want to touch up on some folks asked about the grant us statements going out lately, like the emails, and kind of go over it. And then there's kind of been some issues with that, like how they can kind of get that email shown through, like how they can get the email sent to start the account.
Yeah, it's been kind of frustrating. I know we keep hearing the date of June 1st. Typically for FEA purposes, they want the FAFSA to be filed by May 1st. They did extend that date to June 1st this year because of all the delays. And I think that also meant a lot of people thought that the Grant Us account had to be set up by June 1st. That is not the case. My daughter hasn't even got her Grant Us account email yet. So we found out that they just started sending those out about the first week in May, and they're going out in batches. So I don't think they're even going to have all of those emails sent out until probably sometime later this month. So as long as the FAFSA is filed by June 1st, you can set up that Grant Us account later. But the students do need to kind of check their email very regularly because the link that they get to set it up is only live for 24 hours. If they miss that deadline, they can request a new link be sent to do it. But again, it is only live for that 24 hours. So make sure students are watching their emails daily.
Awesome. Thank you, Craig. I'm going to give you a SAP one. What happens if a student withdraws due to financial issues before the fall semester starts? Like, how does that impact SAP if it does impact them at all?
Yeah, so if you withdraw your schedule before your classes even start, then those classes would not count as attempted and not apply towards your 67% completion required for SAP. If you would late drop the courses, which is typically about 1 week into the semester, then they do count as attempted credits. So you got to be very careful when you're dropping classes, whether you know if they're going to count as attempted or not, because that's important, especially for new students when you don't have any credits built up. Dropping a few classes late can really affect that completion rate, and you can find yourself, below that 67% pretty quickly. So that's the big issue. Just make sure you know, again, whether they're going to count as that attempted or not.
Awesome. Thank you. I'm going to give you one more, Craig. When will the summer aid disperse?
So yeah, summer is kind of a different animal because we have so many different summer sessions, and by federal regulation, we're only allowed to disperse federal aid one time. So we pick June 18th is the date when that's supposed to happen. So on around June 18th, our federal aid and our alternative loan should disperse because that's kind of in the middle of all the summer sessions. So as long as you have enough aid showing on your account that it's going to cover your entire bill, you should not be worried about incurring any late fees because of that disbursement. But again, June 18th is the date that it's set to disperse for now.
Awesome. Thank you, Craig.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like we're kind of caught up on some of the questions. So Sandra, I guess I'm going to give some of the information for you or some questions for you. Would you, this kind of be recommended, is it kind of recommended to have the setup for the payment, be set up for the payment plan, or is it recommended to pay your bill kind of in one large, like lump sum payment? Like what are kind of the pros and cons of either option?
Sure. So because the billing statement has a due date, if it's not paid by then, there is a late fee. And there is a financial hold placed on the account that will not impact the current semester, but will impact the ability to enroll in a future semester. So that's again, it's a family decision how you want to handle that payment. Just having, knowing that if it's not paid in full by the due date, so if a installment payment plan is a better way to distribute that balance to, that will prevent late fees and the financial hold. So it is advantageous to use the installment payment plan if you cannot, pay everything when it's due.
Awesome. Perfect. Thank you, Sandra. And this one will be back to, I'm going to give it back to Craig on this one. For athletic scholarships, will those also be offered on a student scholar aid package?
Yeah, athletics is a little different. They kind of have their own timeline as far as how things are awarded. So they send those scholarships and stuff information to us, and we post them to the account once they're received. Sometimes those don't show up until closer till around the time when the bill comes out. It just depends upon the individual sport. So if you have questions about that, I highly encourage you to reach out, directly to athletics or to your the team that you're attending or being a part of.
All right, I'm going to give you one off the bat, Craig. Do you have any tips or tricks on how these students should be applying for scholarships?
Yeah, absolutely. So, for first year students especially, a huge thing and probably our most active area is outside scholarships. So follow one of our social media pages. Right now we have Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or X. Our Facebook page is going away because we know not too many people use Facebook anymore, but we post outside scholarships.
Actually, Craig, our Facebook page is no longer there.
So not there now. Okay. I
Yeah.
knew it was happening. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
But yes, we post outside scholarships on those social media pages. So definitely use that as a good resource. Also on our website, we do post some search engines that you can use. So, obviously, you're still in high school or finishing up, or maybe you just did, but use your local resources, use your guidance counselor, look for alumni associations. So pretty much just kind of go out and do some legwork, and you can find lots of opportunities for sure.
Awesome. Perfect. And Sandra, I think in-state, the in-state residency, does that one fall on you guys on how they qualify for that?
Yes, it does. So I believe the question is, can you consider in-state tuition for a student who lived in PA state from the last 1 year, came with his parents due to their job or career? So my understanding is that admissions takes into account the graduating high school, and so for residency to apply for in-state as for tuition purposes, the student would have to live here for a year prior, not for educational purposes. And so if it's a situation where the parents had to relocate because of their work, yes. And we have the residency policy on our website as well. So if you want to take a look and see if that would fall in there for you.
Awesome. Perfect. Thank you, Sandra. And then are the interest or the installment payments still available? Like, can they still sign up for those for the summer sessions?
Yeah, so if the student already has a billing statement, they can enroll. They have until June 22nd to enroll with 2/3 of the balance due. So yes.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Sandra. All right. So it looks like our kind of questions are kind of slowing down. Craig, can the parents be applying for outside scholarships for the students, or should the students be applying for those?
That's a good question. I guess it might depend upon the outside scholarship source, but I would think that the students would be the ones that mainly would be doing that process.
And then how do students search for like scholarships through our alumni network?
I believe we have websites out there where you can find information about alumni associations, but you can always just use the good old Google and try to locate things. Usually you can find things pretty close to where you live. We have alumni all over the world, so usually you can find one fairly close.
Pennsylvania, we have a chapter in every county, and then across the 50 states, I think we have a chapter in almost all of them. If you are from a state that does not have a chapter, you're always welcome to get one started. And they'll kind of start or go off of, so what are the differences between the subsidized and unsubsidized loan as well?
Yeah, so the big difference between them, other than the fact that, again, the subsidized is a needs-based aid source. So that one is not going to accrue any interest until about 6 months after graduation. As long as the student takes 6 credits or more every fall and spring, and summer doesn't count, the loans will be deferred. Now, both of them are deferred. They both have around the same interest rate. The difference is the unsubsidized one is going to begin accruing interest from the first time that it's dispersed.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Craig.
Sure.
Nice. All right. So we are going to start the wind down this procedure, I just want to thank you, all of our colleagues here, for helping answer these questions. I know it's always fun to put you guys in the spots and test your knowledge. A little pop quiz. Thank you all for joining us. If you do have follow-up questions or anything after this presentation, all of our contact information is listed here, as well as this webinar will be posted on our websites later. I think about 24 to 48 hours later, as well as it will also be posted on YouTube. As I said, thank you all for joining us. I hope if you're traveling, if you're going to NSO, safe travels. If you're just chilling, relax. You can now conclude this. You can go get your meals if you aren't eating already. I hope you folks have a good rest of your evening then.